Welcome to Horrify Environment. If you are new here, you can subscribe our channel. We upload daily horror videos. A remote campsite was located in the center of Whispering Pines National Park, tucked away amongst towering trees and meandering trails. It was an area of breathtaking natural beauty, with the sounds of friends laughing and the crackle of a campfire blending together. Two girls, Emily and Sarah, and two boys, Jake and Matt, were among their pals. Unaware of the terrifying horrors that waited for them, they had arrived at the campsite in search of thrill and adventure. The four friends gathered around the crackling campfire, their faces lit by the warm glow of the fire as the sun sank below the horizon and the sky turned a deep purple. As they shared ghost stories and cooked marshmallows on sticks, they competed to tell the most terrifying and suspenseful tales. However, the stories became darker as the night went on and the fire burned lower. Jake recounted the story of Whispering Pines, a forest haunted by a phantom entity whose melancholic whispers are claimed to be carried by the wind. Matt related stories of campers who vanished into thin air, leaving their tents discovered empty and deserted. With anxious laughter, Emily and Sarah tried to dismiss their terror as just juvenile superstition. However, they were unable to get rid of the uneasy feeling that descended upon them like a thick blanket. With the shadows dancing in the flickering firelight, the trees appeared to close in around them, and the air got colder as the night grew longer, sending chills down their bones. Suddenly, the four friends sprang in horror as a rustling sound resonated through the trees. With their hearts thumping in their chests, they turned to see, but all they saw were the swinging tree branches. Emily couldn't get rid of the feeling that something was watching them from the shadows, but Jake chuckled uncomfortably and wrote it off as nothing more than a squirrel or raccoon. Sarah laughed nervously and suggested they play a game to distract themselves from their worry. In an attempt to divert their attention from their mounting discomfort, they decided to play a game of truth or dare. However, the tension increased as the game went on, and the dares became bolder. Now it was Emily's turn to make a decision. She decided the daring with a playful twinkle in her eye, wanting to show that she wasn't scared. With a smile on his face, Matt challenged her to walk into the woods by herself, with just the faint light from her phone. Emily hesitated at first, her heart thumping in her chest. She took the task, nonetheless, aiming to show that she was fearless with a steely will. Her footsteps resounded loudly in the quiet woodland as she picked up her phone and stood. The trees seemed to shut in around her as she went farther into the forest, their branches extending outward like gnarled fingers. She felt shivers go down her spine as the temperature dropped. Nevertheless, she persisted, her gaze riveted on her phone's faint glimmer. It suddenly sounded to her, a faint murmur, akin to the sound of wind rustling leaves. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she froze in fear. She strained to listen, but the words were incomprehensible, barely more than whispers blown by the wind. With her heart racing, Emily forced herself to continue walking, and as time went on, her steps grew faster. But the whispers became more forceful, louder, resounding in her ears like a menacing refrain. She desired to sprint, to escape back to the campsite's protection. However, an innate instinct prevented her from moving forward, alerting her to the potential threat concealed in the shadows. Emily felt her heart thumping in her chest as she turned and sprinted with an unexpected bravery. She dared not turn around, dared not succumb to the horror that would have otherwise consumed her. She raced until the pain shot through her legs and lungs, until she sprang out of the woods and into the broad clearing. The whispering, however, continued to reverberate in her ears like a menacing refrain, even as she passed out on the floor, gasping for air. She understood deep down that some tragedies are unavoidable, even though she prayed she would never have to face them again.